But it's like the longer that you keep operating in the sense of survival or control and trying to change it, trying to fix it, it's like you miss the medicine that is in the mystery. There is so much magic in the liminality because when nothing is certain, then everything is possible. And you have to realize that when God calls you and when God is inviting you to be initiated during this phase of death, that what is on the other side for you is far beyond what the ego, what the current self or identity can even dream of. Okay. But in order to have this reclamation of your essence and to really come back home to self and to embark on your soul destiny timeline, it takes you to your knees and your ability to be in such deep receptivity and surrender with God. Welcome back to the Shadow Priestess Embodied. I'm your host, Kaylin Rakowski, and thank you for joining me today for another deep dive and exploration into your inner world, into your body, the shadow realms, where we will begin to explore some of these esoteric principles and really begin to drop them down into modern day application and embodiment. This is a sacred place where you can begin to truly meet yourself, meet your medicine, and to meet your magic. This is a place of remembrance. Take a deep breath and let's begin. Welcome back, you guys. I am so excited to dive in with you all today, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time if I sound a little nasally today. I am having some sinus things going on. But I had this download and I really just wanted to pop on while I was in the energy and really just like contemplating and meditating on this. And what I want to speak to you guys today is something that I'm noticing for myself on an individual level, what I'm noticing in the collective, and even what Gaia is going through right now. And what really led me to start this podcast is being in these deep cycles of rebirth and transformation. And some of you are experiencing this. Maybe you just reached the other side of it. And maybe some of you are about to embark in this space. And I think that there's not a lot of teachings around being in the space in between. What happens after death? Okay. And when I'm speaking about death, I am referring to, death of your current identity, maybe a death of relationships, maybe it's a career change, maybe you've even lost someone, or maybe like me, you are experiencing a combination of these. And I think for me, being in the space that I'll call the void or the in between, the waiting room, whatever feels aligned to you, it's learning how to really begin to navigate this space and moving from this sense of survival or control or anxiety and moving into this space of allowance, of openness, of receptivity, your willingness to be in the unknown, your invitation into the mystery. And so many of us, correlate our level of safety with our knowledge or with what we know or what we believe we can control. And then when you enter into a space like the void, where is pure liminality, right? You don't know up from down, left from right. Everything is changing at such a rapid pace. And it's like who you've even known yourself to be doesn't feel true anymore. I hope that some of you who are listening are nodding your heads and can relate to this, because this has probably been one of the biggest voids or rebirthing phases that I've ever embarked on in my life. Okay. And I will just say, like, what I'm going to speak into today isn't something that you just go through one time. Okay. Just like, if we look at nature and it's cyclical, there are constantly going to be cycles of birth, death, rebirth, okay? And as you know, like, we are no separate from nature, and we ourselves are undergoing constant evolution or death, okay? And it's like, how can we begin to change our relationship with the unknown when you feel like God has placed you in a waiting room where one door closes, but the other one hasn't opened, and it's like you're reaching and there's nothing to grab onto? That has been my experience with this. It's like all the things that I used to find comfort in, or this false sense of safety, are no longer there. It's like I'm in the water waiting for a lifeline, waiting for a raft, and there's none being thrown. So I wanted to come on today and really talk about how we begin to change our relationship with the void, how we begin to navigate the mystery so that we learn to not only just get by or get through it, but to truly thrive in it and to truly find the gifts, the medicine that is here right now. Because if you're like me and you're going through one of these portals of deep transformation, of rebirth, know that it is divinely ordained and it is taking you somewhere. Something in your life is asking to die for you to fully let go of the control, the attachments, the expectations, the conditioning around things, to truly allow something else to take shape. And if you think about it this way, everything is energy, okay? And your identity, your belief systems, your relationships, your job, your business, whatever it is, it's taking up space in your life. And to truly embark and to open yourself up to the expansion that awaits you, which you wouldn't be going through this death portal way if you weren't being invited or initiated into something else. I hope if you only take that away today, like, you just hold on to that as your North Star, that this void, this death, this in between is happening for you. And there is always a higher intelligence at play that is guiding you, that is supporting you, and that is truly asking you to trust. Because what is trying to take form and what is trying to take shape in your life can only happen when you first are willing to let go of the past and to fully let that die. Okay. You can't have one hand in rebirth and one hand in death and wonder why, you're at this tug of war and you feel stuck. Okay. You feel resistance. It's like you fully surrendering to the process, your willingness to be in the state where you are allowing creation and life to move you, to move through you. Okay. And I think what stops so many of us, or what creates suffering, is our resistance to this phase, right? We don't like being in a state where we feel like we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's coming. And truthfully, when you enter into a phase of liminality, when you find yourself in the void where something has died, where something has been taken away essentially, and you just have this space, there's nothing that you can do to force creation. And the longer that you spend trying to force it, trying to fix it, trying to change it, like just trying to know what that thing is so I can get out of here, you literally extend the time that you will be in the void. And the more that you resist it, you then create suffering to what is, and don't allow the void to do what it's meant to do, which is to completely transform you. Where you are going out of the void on the other side is somewhere that you have never been before. It is going to be a version of you that you have never been before. And this is something that requires deep surrender, right? Like I said, going into the state of allowance, willingness, openness, receptivity with the divine. And think about it this way. If you think about a woman who gets pregnant, okay, there is nothing that she can do to force creation, to force that life to be born before it's ready. Okay, there is a divine timing to this. Okay, there is an unfolding. And you being in the void, you going through this phase of rebirth isn't any different than a woman being pregnant. And it's like the longer that you resist it and you try to control it, it's like you just are going to continue to add suffering, to add resistance, and just perpetuate it and make the cycle go on longer. And I think like what I've noticed just in myself in my journey and working with tons of women and clients and navigating the space for them, it's like we feel that if we just get some clarity, okay, if I just know that like this is where I'm headed or this is where I'm going, then I'll have a feeling of safety, then I'll be okay. And really, I think the void invites us to go from a state of survival to a state of sovereignty. Okay. When we're letting go of the expectations, the attachments, the needs, right? Having to have the clarity, having to know, and moving into the space where we are truly sovereign and in co-creation with God. When we come back home to our essence and allow ourselves to truly be spirit-led first, like this is the gift of the void. It's almost like a deconditioning and a shedding of all the false layers of self, relationships, behaviors, activities, whatever it is that aren't in alignment with your soul, what's not in alignment with your soul mission. And the beauty in this is that we realize that our sense of safety has nothing to do with how much we know or how much we can control. All right. Think about a baby that's coming into this world. Again, I must be pulling on the on the baby thread, but it's when a child comes into the world, it doesn't feel a sense of safety because it knows everything. Right? Think about a baby coming into the world. It literally knows nothing. It knows nothing, right? Nothing about life, nothing about its family, etc. And it feels safe. So my invitation to you is that how can we begin cultivating a sense of safety when we're in the in between? And you don't do this by knowing more, by getting clarity, by knowing, who you're going to be and what you're going to do and da 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 da. That's feeding the ego. That's feeding the part of you that's stuck in survival. That's not really dropping those expectations and attachments and moving into a deep state of surrender. And if you think about what really creates safety, it's presence. It's dropping out of your mind, out of the story, out of the anxiety, out of the tension, and getting so deeply ingrained into your body, into the present moment, and knowing that I'm okay, right? Like letting your body know, letting your spirit know that, like, I'm here, I'm with you. That's what creates a level of safety. It's not, again, knowing how the money is going to come in or when the relationship's going to happen or insert whatever the thing is that you are so high anxiety and in survival over, and truly just finding safety in the unknown. And it's like the quicker that you can find the sense of safety this sense of joy, this sense of pleasure, curiosity in the unknown, in the liminality. It's like that is when God begins to open up these different channels of inspiration, desire, right? Communication, guidance, showing you the roadmap, showing you the transformation, helping you see, the yellow brick road essentially, or the path that is here for you. But it's like the longer that you keep operating in the sense of survival or control and trying to change it, trying to fix it, it's like you miss the medicine that is in the mystery. There is so much magic in the liminality, because when nothing is certain, then everything is possible. And you have to realize that when God calls you and when God is inviting you to be initiated during this phase of death, that what is on the other side for you is far beyond what the ego, what the current self or identity can even dream of. Okay. But in order to have this reclamation of your essence and to really come back home to self and to embark on your soul destiny timeline, it takes you to your knees and your ability to be in such deep receptivity in surrender with God. When so many people I see who enter into the void instantly go into control, like I've said, and they think, okay, well, what do I have to do? If I just do more, then I can fix this. And really, what the void is inviting you into, again, is death. It's not about doing more. It's not about trying to fix anything. It's about what parts of me do I need to allow to die? And maybe you even know what those parts are and you're lying to yourself. You know, how many of you here who are listening know, that thing, that relationship, that behavior, etc., that you need to let go of, but you keep resisting it? What are you pretending to not know? Okay. And I know that if you're listening to this, you are somebody who is so intuitive, that you're tapped in, that you're connected. But being in the void is also this activation of trust, of faith. And I just don't mean in God or in universe or in source or insert blank, but I mean in yourself. And how deeply can you trust the guidance that you do receive in this space, even if that is literally to do nothing, right? Sometimes, like, inaction is the action that's needed. Because again, if everything is energy and everything is space, what the void is doing is dismantling all of the programs, right? All of the templates, all of the things in your life that are blocking you from this next phase of expansion, from this next phase of initiation. And it's like, the more comfortable you can be in releasing and letting go, just by doing so, it's like you're creating the space for more inspiration, for more alignment, for more connections to flow into your life. But it's like trying to, you know, pour water into a cup that's already full. There's no room in this cup for that to come in. Okay. So again, it's like, how do we create the space? And when we've created the space, not making it wrong, not trying to fix it, not trying to change it, but allowing creation to begin to flow through it, it creates a vacuum where you can't help but to be transformed. And I really want this to land today, and for you to fully understand that there is such power in the patience, in the surrender. When you're not in a hurry to change it, to fix it, to, control it, to think your way out of it, and you truly allow this gestation period to take place. Because there is an integration, an embodiment that is calling you, that is trying to take form. And what I see so many times is that people start following the breadcrumbs or getting these insights or downloads surrounding, what's next for them or what's coming, and they rush the process. And when you rush the process and you try to, control or force your way out of the void, essentially, you don't allow the full capacity or its full potency to really be integrated and embodied. So the longer that you can truly just be in this state of allowance and receptivity with God, with your higher self, when you feel like absolutely nothing is happening, this truly is when everything is happening. When there is so much magic, when there is a cosmic rearrangement taking place, but it's you fully allowing yourself to be fully enveloped in this void and to truly surrender to the divine timing of this season of your life. I mean, I can't stress this enough. There is a divine timing, there is an unfolding. And the quicker that you can release your attachment or expectation or resistance to that, the quicker you actually will be able to move through it and allow what's ever trying to be birthed or take form to have room to do so. And through my many trials or experiences in the void, in these portals of rebirth, I don't even think it's so much about your external reality or what's on the other side, what gets to happen when we come out of the void. I think the medicine or the juice in the void is really addressing, who am I? Who am I becoming? It's a way that you get invited to come home to the core of your essence, the truth of who you are, where you get to experience what it's like to be spirit led, to lead with desire, inspiration, curiosity, and allowing things to be from this place of pure expression, where it's like I'm not in survival and I'm not operating from need or lack or trying to get something or get away from something. It's coming more from this element or energy of choice, of joy, of devotion. And I think that when more of us can change our relationship with the unknown, with the unseen, and really embracing this as a gift, as an initiation, as, it's like you're embarking on this like new level of expansion, expression, service, whatever that looks like for you, then you can't help but to welcome this, right? If I knew that this void was happening for me, that those things that left my life had to leave my life because I'm being called to something more, it's like, how differently would you begin to approach this phase of your life, this season of your life, knowing that if you look back on your past experiences where you felt like things were in death or dying or going wrong, how truthfully life was always supporting you, how your destiny was calling you. And you guys, you can't fuck up your destiny, okay? You may take a few detours, you may hit a few bumps in the road, but there's this beautiful energy that's always working towards you and inviting you back into alignment, and trusting that sometimes, things essentially have to be shaken up, taken away in order for us to get back on the path that is in the highest utilization of our essence, right? Of our genius, of our gifting. And truthfully, it's like, we don't like pain. right? Again, we don't like pain. We don't like the unknown. We don't like not feeling like we know what's going to happen. So many of us will, get the call to more, or feel this just nug that there's something that's wanting to be birthed and move through us, but we hesitate because we don't want to leave what's familiar. We don't want to leave what's comfortable. And for some of you who are listening, who have big callings to fill, who are here to be of service, who are here to impact the collective on a massive level, sometimes, honey, Spirit's going to give you a little nudge. It's going to slap you. It's going to make something so painful so that you have to move. Okay. And you can get to a point by changing your relationship with the unknown, with the unseen, with the liminality, so that it doesn't have to get so painful for you to move in alignment, for you to follow your intuition, for you to follow soul guidance. And I think that so many of us right now on a collective level are hearing the call. We are being called for more. We are being called into the highest expression of our essence, of our medicine, of our gifting. Because not only, like I said, is this on an individual level, this is on a collective level, right? Like there is a mass awakening happening that we've never seen before. Gaia is ascending. So many of us are going through this at hyper speed and at such high intensity that we're having such a hard time being in that state of allowance, being in that state of surrender, of willingness. But what I'm inviting you into today is to really look at your life, where you're still operating out of control, where you are holding on to certain attachments, where things in your life may be dead or dying, and you've got your hands gripping onto it for dear life because it's known and it's comfortable. And what could really happen if you truly stepped into a state of surrender, if you truly allowed yourself to let go and let God take the lead in your life? And knowing that this isn't a phase that you have to use your mind and think your way out of and do more, but an invitation to really go within, to connect with your soul, to connect with your God spark, to commune with God, with your guides, with the universe. And it's like, if that is the foundation of this phase of your life, of this season of your life, then your ability to feel a sense of safety, presence, joy is going to be so amplified by your decision to trust that this is something that is happening for you. Something I want you to meditate and contemplate on today after listening to this episode is just, how can I truly embrace this season of my life? How can I truly embrace the void with a sense of gratitude, knowing that it's a gift, knowing that I'm being initiated? Where am I lying to myself, holding on to things that are dead or are dying? Where in my life can I really begin creating space for life, for creation, for desire, inspiration to flow and move through me? How can I get anchored in myself, cultivating a sense of presence, that I feel safe and know that I'm with me, that there is something bigger always guiding me into the highest alignment? How can I let go of all the expectations, attachments, and elements of control that are keeping me feeling stuck or that I have to do more? And what would happen if you truly embodied a sense of surrender, openness, receptivity to God and to the void? If this is an episode that has left you wanting more and you are really ready to deep dive into your own shadows, into your identity work, into your uniqueness, your otherness, then let me just tell you that identity work, deep transformation is my absolute domain and my favorite place to guide and work with my clients through. And if you are ready to really be devoted to yourself and see what can happen when you really unlock that next level of self expression, then I do have a few select one on one private mentor spaces that have just opened up, as well as my favorite, most delicious group mastermind, Emergence, is reopening the doors this September. If this is something you're interested in, click the link in my bio, and I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me today for another juicy episode of Shadow Priestess Embodied. I absolutely love diving in and having these conversations with you all. If this is an episode that you found intriguing, that you found some nuggets in, please share it with a friend and be sure to subscribe and follow me so you can be present for all of the upcoming transmissions, activations, and downloads that I'll be bringing to our community. Have an absolutely magical day, and I'll see you soon.